Yo, what's up with y'all, man? Top of the top, man. Listen, appreciate y'all tuning in to episode 7, right?
Yeah.
Episode 7, man.
I just know we working. Don't worry about what episode it is. Just know we working.
Yeah, you know, providing that content for y'all, man, as always. But we do got some sad news, man. I mean, not for y'all, but for us. Big dog over here leaving us. He too good for us. He going on to bigger and better things. That's all right. It's all right, though. We're going to show him what it is. But appreciate y'all tapping in. We got some good for y'all today. And just make sure y'all listening.
That's crazy. I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, that's
I'm just leaving the office.
Yeah,
They leave
that's why I
us.
said not for them, for us. Them it does.
Got us right, then decided to go.
That's crazy.
It's like they always did.
That's crazy. Well, I guess to go into depth because they probably mentioned like I don't know what they talking about. I am getting promoted to a directorship position, so I'm moving up in my leadership journey.
Yay!
Appreciate y'all. I will say, I would have definitely got here without y'all. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you guys for everything you do. This is just a separate stepping stone to go even somewhere even further. And this is just the beginning of what we're gonna do. So I'm excited. So tune in for this. It's gonna be a good one. This is gonna be the ending of our adversity topic. Adversity series. First day we talked about a little bit of pre-qualification, right? Making sure you're not going to the house thinking about X, Y, and Z. Just go to the house and be you. Second time we talked about filming. Second one after that.
So we did one on adversity. We did pre-qualification.
That's the first one.
That was the first one, was pre-qualification.
I know we did winning culture.
Winning culture was the last one we did. So winning culture was a good one. A lot of times, in our office at least, we had adversity in the sense of like, we can't control what the culture is when you just go in there, right? We had to shift the perspective. So just having things coming against us. This one's gonna be more in life, which the F special. No, I'm just playing. But no, it's gonna be a little bit different because it is gonna help inside door to door. But the biggest thing is if you're not helping yourself, you can help yourself as much as you want in your 9 to 5. But if your 5 to 9 is trash, you're just not really moving forward.
You know what we didn't have in our office? Now we're starting to get it a little bit. Can you take a guess?
What you mean?
There's too much fucking testosterone in our building. Too much men in our shit, man. You know, it's starting to get spread out. So appreciate talent acquisition if y'all ever watching this. Appreciate y'all, man.
You're funny as hell. Too much testosterone. That's crazy. But yeah, just adversity in life, right? I mean, I think it's right in front of our face. We talked about a little bit of it before. We talk a lot about, being black. That's already adversity in itself. You can't control that. It's funny, the other day I was literally in the field and I had my hat on and I just tested it out. My coat was zipped up and I don't have my hat on right now. But I was going to houses and I'm knocking on the door or whatever. And I was just like, okay, cool. I go to a different house, take my hat off, go to a different house, and it's like, they're a little bit nicer. I'm like, nah, there's no shot that this is right in front of my face right here. Put the hat back on, I could feel people's energy changing. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was me. But at the end of the day, I was just like, damn, this is crazy.
Look like you about to come run up in their crib or something, man.
Yeah, I look crazy. Like, I don't want to look like I'm running up in the crib now. But wait, check. I'm good.
There, it's spinning. It's spinning.
But yeah, so one thing I really wanted to go into, right? You guys are developing leaders. You guys are crushing. You guys are going to be in this office. This office is now yours, right? Yours to dominate. In the past couple of years, what's something that you guys have struggled with that puts a different perspective and point of view to the viewers? That's something they might be dealing with, something you struggle with, and something that you're really learning to take control of and change, and it's helping change your life now.
I guess I'll start off. I guess it's really just like holding yourself accountable, right? I think holding yourself accountable is a huge thing. And it's hard, right? There's really like steps and forms in terms of accountability, right? Like a lot of things, like you have to sit down, you have to make goals, you have to have the right people around you. Some may be spiritual, but you have to really be deep rooted in your thoughts in terms of what you really want to do, and then have a lot of things accounted for. Like if I say I'm good, and it really comes in terms of like staying true to your word, like, right? And it starts in little steps, like maybe it's something you just want to get up and you want to make the bed this morning or something like that, something little as that, or I'm just gonna clean, something little as that. It starts in little goals like that and then turns into like bigger things as well too. But you can't, habits basically, you're correct. So small habits lead into bigger things, and then actually you hold yourself accountable, and then whatever you say you're going to do, it's like a rollover or a truffle effect. So that's really big for me. Even me doing this podcast and everybody doing this podcast, like Dev and everybody, we have this group that we built, and we all hold each other accountable. Whether we're tired, whether we're in a good mood or a bad mood, we still make this, we gotta record this day. We gotta meet this day. We gotta meet that. And there's a lot of...
I was gonna say, this podcast in itself is holding me accountable. I'm like, damn, I can't let them down.
When we speak about accountability, there's a lot of things that just have to happen. Like I said, you have to have a team, you have to want to do it, you have to buy in, you have to have goals. And it just starts one step at a time, and then it's just a truffle effect. That's what I'd say.
And can you say it again one more time?
Yeah, what's something that you struggled with before, like before leadership, before all this has happened? And not even that, like let's say in the past 2 years, something that you really struggle with that could really help the audience, change their point of view, and if they're struggling with that, how they can get better with that.
For me, what I struggle with, and I'm still struggling with just a little bit, but having this job has helped, is communication. Because I just, if I'm not locked in with you, I just really don't even be paying any mind to go out my way to reach back to you, or not like purposely doing it, just like, fuck it, like that's just how I be feeling sometimes. But with this job, you can't do that, because then your coworker's gonna be looking at you like, what, he don't want to help me out, or he keeping everything to himself, stuff like that. So as a leader in this job, you can't not go out your way to go out and help people, reach out to them just to check in on them. Even that helps them a lot. You being like a leader, you checking in on a new person, they'll be like, dang, why you was checking in on me, or whatever, da da da. Like Kizik, like he was new, and he came up to me like last week, and he was like, cause what was you saying? You were saying, damn, like you was the top dog, and you came to me, and you was helping me go over the script and da 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 da. So that's definitely, this job's helping me with that.
That's big, and you'll realize too, like people won't, like the director, like for me, I'm gonna be director. People not gonna look up to me as much as like you guys do now. Like I'm gonna be in a position where it's like, yeah, you can look up to me, but like they're gonna be looking at the people that are at the top of what they're doing. Like they don't look at the guy that's, like you don't look at your boss. You look at the people that's nasty where you're at. And that's really what's gonna drive performance, what drives everybody. So it's like when I say it's your office, like even when I'm going to the office I'm going to, it's not my office. Like it is, like I'm leading the office, but like I have to lead in such an indirect way, a lot more than I have now. So that's gonna be a huge lesson for me too, which is fire. It's gonna change it up.
I have a question though. Like with all these experiences, like all the vision, all the like things that you do in your life right now, what were some of the losses that you guys had to face in life that played a part in your resiliency right now in life?
Ask that again.
So like what were some of the losses that you had to face in life that played a very important part in your resiliency in life right now? Like what were some of the things that like in your past you really went through that molded you into becoming who you are today?
That's big. What molded me in my past to make me today? I think just as a human, like you have to, I just completely just lost my train of thought.
You want me to pick it up? I got you.
Yeah.
For me, I know me, in the past, for me, like, my mom had went to go do her own thing when I was like 1 or 2, so she didn't raise me. My grandma raised my dad too. He was doing his own thing in the streets and stuff like that, so they didn't raise me like, mom and dad. My grandma raised me, so I'll be always, you feel me, at the games or whatever, shit like that. Like, damn, I see everybody else's parents, you know what I mean? But I ain't got mine here or whatever. So I always held like resentment towards them. So that made me like not want to ask people for help, or I'm gonna get it on my own. I don't want to rely on nobody. So that's say it again. What was the joke?
So, what were like some of the losses that you guys had to deal with in life earlier on that played a very important part in your like resiliency in life
Yeah.
right now that made you who you are today?
Yeah, so that's why I'm so like I'm gonna get on my own. I'm gonna figure this out on my own and stuff like that. Cause my parents, you know, they're in my life now. You know what I mean? I'm grateful I let that go. But when I was a child, they wasn't, you know what I mean, around. They was doing their own thing. So that's definitely made me to the person I am today for sure.
So like your parents not being here made
Yeah.
you like figure everything out your own. So now that helped you build your character. Like you like go for everything right now on your own. Like yeah, I can figure it out. Now you have that mindset now.
Yeah, and it's not always, you know what I mean, like I'm learning to change it because you can't get what you want in life, figuring everything out on your own. Now you gotta go ask for help. So
Exactly.
that's why this job is a blessing because it's showing me that. And I'm not afraid to do that anymore. Go ask for help and stuff like that. So that's definitely one of the things in the past that's made me who I am today for sure.
A big one for me was the fact I jumped in that quick, my bad. But a big one for me was I looked up to my dad a lot, and my dad was a CEO. So if anybody knows my correctional officer, they don't really like they can't be home that much. Like they can, but they work a lot of overtime hours. Like they work a lot. So my dad was doing that a lot, but not to make an excuse for him, but I always felt alone with sports, and I love sports. He loves sports. So like as a kid, you look up to your dad, like that's your figure. So he liked sports. I was into sports. I was the only kid in my family to excel in the sports past high school. So my biggest thing was like when I was ever at my sports events, it always felt lonely. Like I hated that. Like I hated feeling like no one was watching me. So like I was nasty, but I wasn't really at my full potential because I was doing it for others. I wasn't doing it for me. So a big thing was like I got like certain sparks throughout like high school and stuff like that. Like I went to one of my football games my dad went to, which was cool. Like I was hyped that game, one of my best games. Other ones wasn't really that great, but even so, I think just when you have a parent, like being involved in your kid's life is so important because for me, if I would have had more of what like support from my dad, like my mom supported me a bunch, but she don't really understand. She's just there for me. But if I had a lot more support from my dad, I think that it would have made me just a lot more clear-minded with a lot of things I do. Don't get me wrong, I love my dad to death, but that was a big thing for me. Like that felt like now, like as I go into leadership now, it's like I never want anyone else to feel that. Like I want you to feel like you might be the worst kid in the basketball team, but dog, like you got somebody. Like I'll support you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be there. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not about to go to your travel games and all that, but it's just kind of like yo, I'm here for you. Like I'm not about to let you feel like you're here, even though you want to be here, and in reality you're probably here. But like I don't want you to feel that. Like you have somebody, and that's my biggest thing. And I refuse to let people just feel that way.
Yeah, I really like felt that when I started, and like I always used to call him and like, yo, Devin, like I'm ass at this, it's not working. And he used to be like, yo, you got this, don't worry about it. And I'm like, yeah, he was always there supporting and all. It's nice.
Yeah, to you coaches out there who be coaching rec and all them little leagues and all that shit, right? Don't tell one of the ass players on there, don't tell them like, go get me some water, you know what I mean? Don't be doing that shit. Don't be doing that. Everybody plays a part on the team. Don't be doing that
I think a big thing too, like even just as a coach, right? Like as a leader, like you should be doing more shit for your people. Like you want them to buy into you. Like they shouldn't have to feel like they gotta go reach out for you. Like you gotta. It's a big thing. Like you know how teachers in school they like, oh, I'm a teacher, you should respect me. But then we come in and it's like, no, you gotta earn that. Like
Exactly.
everywhere, you have to earn your respect. You earn respect because of your title, but you could lose it very quickly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
think he's better than the next.
right. So it's like you should be earning respect as a leader. Like I can't go in there and be like, all right, I'm director, and just be arrogant to everything or ignorant. It's just I gotta go in there, and my job is to take care of you. So it's like I can't go in there taking care of you how I want to take care of you. I gotta go in there and take care of you how you need to be taken care of. Right. Now I'm not gonna like completely do everything you need me to do. Like I'm gonna still have me in there. But like if say for instance Ev need help on one thing and you need help on another, I'm not gonna just teach y'all. I'm not gonna teach Ev what you need, or I'm not gonna teach Ev what you need and teach you what you need. It don't make sense. Ev has a different plan that I need to, so I gotta gear it towards my people and things like that. But you about to have another one.
I do, but Ev, what about you? Like, what were some of the losses that you had to face in life that played a big part in your resilience and stuff?
As far as losses, I feel like with me, like I just wasn't really like that confident growing up as a kid. Like I always like second guess or always felt like I wasn't like good enough. So for me, as far as like losses that I took, I just wouldn't try a lot of stuff. And I didn't really value myself. So it just, and that was with anything, like anything I did, I couldn't find confidence, whether it was having sports, whether it was in school, academics, even when it was like approaching girls and stuff like that. Like I just never really had confidence until like I really, literally like probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I just was like, yo, why am I fighting and battling with myself? Like there's something wrong and I need to sit down and fix it. And I just was like, I just stopped giving a fuck and like I asked for help, like what was going on. So really for me, like it was just really believing myself and being maintaining confidence. I always battled with that growing up. Like I never really felt like I was, like I said, like just good enough. So I really sat down, took time, and like I didn't worry about. I started like how I started to develop like confidence and believing in myself. I started really sitting down, isolating myself kinda. I'm getting better non-isolated now, but I really just started to be grateful. Grateful for the things I have and things I'm actually like good at, and understand like I'm a unique. It's okay to not fit in, or it's okay to be like different from the norm. Like that's what makes you valuable and unique. And I started embracing that. And then once I started embracing that, I more so like honed in on my strengths, and I realized my weaknesses, but I really focused on my strengths and just worried about what I need to work on in order to be a better man. So I just one step at a time. So yeah.
I will say too, for you, I don't know if it's something that you, like I'm sure we still struggle with these things, but I don't know if it's something that you focused on like more recently versus like before, like when you first got here. But since I've come back, like seeing you now and who you were when I first met you is also just like the immense amount of growth in that aspect that you just talked about is like unbelievable as well. Like you've opened up a lot too, even when it comes to speaking to people, speaking about people, speaking on their name, things like that. Like you speak up a lot more, which is really good to see. It's really dope to see, 100%.
What's something you struggle with that makes your perspective on this podcast unique?
Something that I struggle with that a lot of you guys might struggle with as well is just, at least before, right? Big thing I struggled with was how to think consistently, positively. A lot of times our brain is always going, like it's always rolling. It's just doing this thing, and a lot of times it's hard to really control the negative and the positive, right? It's hard to really shift that perspective. So that's something I really had a hard time dealing with, for sure.
So why do you like feel that way? Like why did you like struggle like with the thinking part? Like cause like having like always the positive thinking. Why did you like struggle with it? Like how are you overcoming it? So how can they, like the viewers, like the people watching us, can help with it?
So the big thing was just ups and downs, right? I'm sure you guys feel it all the time, right? Like feeling like your life is always up and it's just super far down and it's hard to just kind of level it out. Everyone deals with that shit. It's not just you, dog. So that's step one. Understand that everybody, deals with that in different ways. But like the ups and downs are huge. And the reason you feel that way is because you don't know how to think. You don't have any system in your brain that guides you when you're struggling with this.
Right.
So, big thing for me, so there's two parts to that, right? That really helped me in the past couple of years. How to think, one, I listen to a ton of podcasts. I'm doing exactly what you're doing right now. Listen to podcasts, listen to what other people talk about, listen to what people I want to be like talk about, right?
Yeah.
Learning how to think like them, literally looking at the psychology of how to think, things like that. Second thing is you got to be nicer to yourself. You got to stop claiming that you're so hard on yourself when you're not. Like, you're not hard on yourself, you're just being an asshole. And that's literally what it is. You're just treating yourself like shit, excuse my language, but you're treating yourself like shit and then claiming you're hard on yourself, but yet action, like looking at yourself from a overtop view, you've done nothing. And it's because all you do is just keep pounding your brain. Be nice to yourself, give yourself grace, right? For instance, let's say you want to be an entrepreneur. That's a big thing, right? You're gonna fail. Like, stop looking at all your failures as losses. Like, they're wins. You're just looking at it as a failure, right? Yeah, they're just keep looking at more like lessons versus like I failed. It's just like, no, you learned. And now the more you look at it as like I learned, now your whole perspective is different. Now you're only seeing things as wins. Next thing you know, 365 days from now, you're a complete 180. You're a different person. So just to summarize it, but how to think is huge. Figure out how to think, how to be more positive in your mind, and 2, give yourself grace. Stop beating yourself up and pat yourself on the back more and be nicer to yourself. And that's something I've really had to dial in the last 2 years. And what it did to me was not only did it's not gonna make my skill so much better. What it did is it gave me a platform so that way now I can build faster. Does that make sense? So rather than, making the foundation slow and having to fix things, like, now I have a steady foundation. Now I can really skyrocket this in 3 days versus keep it moving for 13 days kind of thing.
I think, piggyback on what you said, you said what we struggle with, right?
So that's you gotta break it down.
Yeah, so like,
As far as what we struggle with.
exactly.
Before the job, well, me and probably most of y'all maybe have felt like this too. I would say, like going off of your emotions too much. Like you can't do that, because say like if you have a win in life, you wanna, celebrate, like party it up. You're feeling high on life, and then you have a loss, and then like you don't know how to get yourself out of that because you're so down on yourself. So you can't you can't let your emotions dictate, how you're gonna go about your day. And that's not only I struggle, I know Ev struggle with too, because learning, once we learn like how, we know we, in a bad spot right now at the bottom, but we gotta know what it is, like what's the routine to get out of that. So once we figure that out, it makes life so much easier. So
Can't stop cheating.
Yeah.
Stop thinking with your second head. Feel me? Think with your first head.
That was
So that's for sure. That's something I struggle. What was the second part?
It's like, why do you feel that way, and how can like your experiences and like your perspective help other people? I think you like really gave the answer to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like one more thing, like that's like I'll be out. Like that's like one last question I have for you guys. Like that's kind of deep. Like, what type of impact you guys want to leave on this world before like you die?
Damn.
You know that was my joint. You know that was my joint. You know, man. That's so crazy. It's just such a broad question, but I think it just starts. It starts daily, right? I think you really have to dive into like what is your purpose and why you're here. I think that's so hard to think about like every single day. But like literally, I have like notes, or I might watch something. I have literally like a note in like my iPhone, and it has like why am I here, and why am I doing what I'm doing each and every day. And I kind of look at it. I'll gaze over it, but it's just so important. But it really all like starts with your purpose and really how you grew up and what you really felt and what you've been through. So in terms of like steps, it can be like really learning more about yourself, whether that's reading, being around like-minded people, not even being around like-minded people. It can just go off of what you don't like too, as well too, and what you saw was wrong, or maybe something in the world happened, or maybe a situation happened that you don't like, and you're like, oh no, I don't like how this was treated. I don't like how those people were treated. I don't like how that went down. I don't like how you talk to this person. And then it's like, all right, I know what I don't like. So what do I stand for? What do I stand for now, knowing that I don't like and how I want to be treated and how I want to treat others? So it's a broad question. It's so hard, but if any of you guys want to,
Can you ask it one more time?
Yeah. So like, what type of impact you guys want to leave on the world before you die?
I look at my impact, in I guess I say locally, in the sense of like the people I directly deal with, right? Like the impact I want to leave on people is that I didn't give up on you, like, and not even like I didn't let you give up on you, but like if you give up on you, that's on you. But like I don't want anyone to ever feel that they don't have support, like they don't have because for me, again, I felt like I didn't have that, and I know what it feels like to not have or not feel fully supported in my ideas, and it made me question so much of my own life that, like, for me as a reaction to the world is that, well, I didn't have it, so I'm gonna give so much of it that no one can question it, and that's really like the biggest thing. Like, I want people to feel like, yeah, I can trust that dude. Like that dude got it. Like he's got my back. If anybody got my back, it's him.
What I used to think I wanted when I was younger, what I used to think I wanted my impact to be is like a motherfucker who got money. Maybe y'all felt like this. A motherfucker who got money, cool, got the bitches and all that. That's what I used to thought was a great impact. But nah, like growing up and going through shit, like that's really temporary. And really that shit doesn't mean nothing. So I just want to leave, like, I help inspire somebody to be what they wanted to be in life. Kind of like what Dev said with a support system. So just inspiring somebody to keep on going. That's ultimately what I want to be, my impact. That's it.
You said that's it, like it was, like I was basic.
Nah.
Nah.
I have one more question. Like, it can super relate to it. Like, how do you find out your why? Like people say, like, you know, like when we come here, it's like a hard job. Like people say you have to find out your why. That way it will keep you motivated.
Don't mind if I tap on it? How do you find your why? That's a really good point. Because we talk about that a lot, like why you do what you do. If anybody's struggling with how to find out like why you want to do what you want to do, you have to find out who you are.